Can I help you? Howdy. So, radial master cylinders. What are they? And do you need one for your bike? That's a question I've kind of been dealing with lately, and in this video we're going to figure that out. Anyways, the master cylinder that I had on this originally wasn't even the stock master cylinder. So, you know, stock, they come with just a Brembo front brake master cylinder. But the Brembo I had, I don't know why I went to rebuild it, you know, because it was an older bike and I wanted to put fresh piston and everything, the master cylinder. Opened it up, put the fresh piston in and everything, went to bleed it, could not build any pressure. I took the aftermarket piston in and out several times. I even put the stock piston and the seals and everything back in. And I talked to people on Facebook and I talked to people on forums, and I had every single person tell me it was something else, and every single person give me a different solution for the problem. And no matter what I tried, we could not get this master cylinder to build any pressure at all. The only thing, you know, I had someone tell me that actually worked was to go onto eBay and buy this $15 eBay master cylinder that came off of like a it came off of like a CRF 250R, 450R, something like that, you know? And it worked fine. Like, I had no problems with it. It bled up. I, you know, put the fluid through it. It built pressure fine, and it worked as it should. But it was a really cheap $15 eBay cylinder, and I was not liking how it felt. You know, it didn't feel like I wanted my brakes to feel. So I looked online, you know, around, and I ended up finding this Brembo 14mm radial master cylinder, and I got it off a dude on Facebook for a decent price, you know, and that's what I've got on right now. So we're going to kind of talk about, you know, the differences I noticed between this and my old setup, and I mean a bit of information to potentially help you figure out if you want one or not, if you are looking for more out of your brakes on a Supermoto, or really any bike for that matter. We can talk about the difference between a radial master cylinder that I've got on the bike right now and the axial master cylinder that you usually see on other motorcycles with hydraulic brakes. And I've got some crappy diagrams, little things that'll help you try to understand the difference. But we'll start with an axial master cylinder. As you can see right here, when you pull in the lever on an axial master cylinder, it is compressing the piston perpendicularly to the lever pull. So you're pulling the lever towards you, but the piston is actually going left and compressing the fluid that way. And there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, they still use these systems on a lot of motorcycles. You know, pretty much all dirt bikes still have these from the factory, and a lot of street bikes do as well. Then you can start to talk about why a radial master cylinder is better. Basically, the difference between a radial and an axial is that when you pull in the lever in a radial master cylinder, the piston is going the same way. So as you can see in this crappy demonstration right here, I pull the lever towards the handlebars, and then the piston is also being compressed towards the handlebars. This helps to make the parts more rigid, and there's less, you know, play, if that makes any sense, in the system. And what it gives you is a super direct brake feel. Like, it's way better. It really is. Like, I noticed the difference before I even rode the bike. There's no angles or anything. It's just direct and straight. And the brakes, they just feel crisper. They feel better. And, you know, the cool thing is that this one came with a brake light switch, which I needed. And I didn't even have to splice any wires because it had the same size clip as the wiring harness for my lights. So it was a pretty easy install. The bleeding took me a little while, I'm not gonna lie, because obviously I had this thing shipped to me with 0 fluid in it. So I had to, you know, suck the old fluid out of the line, and I got a syringe to make it easier, but I ended up breaking the syringe. But I had to, you know, pump fluid through the line, and I've got a few pictures here. I didn't do a video demonstrating how to do it. And then I ended up having to bleed the master cylinder itself, because once you get the fluid through the lines, you've got to get the air out of the cylinder. Like radial master cylinders like this one, I've got a bleeder screw on the master cylinder, as well as on I've got a bleeder screw on my master cylinder and my caliper. So there's actually 2 spots I had to bleed the brakes from. I will say I'm impressed. But also, to give you guys some perspective onto the rest of my brakes, I've got a quick clip that I'll show, just kind of showing what my brakes look like for you guys. I'm still running the stock motocross caliper down there. It's got fresh pads in it. I've got a Galfer braided steel line. So other than a fresh brake line, you know, stock calipers, stock kind of pads. It's just got this big master cylinder up front. But like I said, it really does make a noticeable difference. I was quite impressed with it, you know, to be completely honest. And I still plan on putting a bigger caliper on later on. I just don't know the route I'm going to take yet. I'm going to try to hit this little step off right here, but I got to make sure there's no traffic around. So next I'll just go over briefly, you know, whether or not this is for you. If you've done other things to your brakes, but you've got upgraded pads, potentially an upgraded caliper, and fresh lines, then really your next route for improving your brake feel is going to a radial master cylinder. And there's different options, like there's aftermarket companies that make them. It depends on where you want to go and who you want to get it from. You can buy them, you know, used. You can buy them from certain street bikes. You can get takeoffs, which work well, but you have to be careful because if you get a master cylinder for a dual brake setup, a lot of people will say that the feel is like pretty much wooden at that point. I mean, I can't really attest to that, but that's one thing you can do that'll help your brake feel. I wonder if this truck right here is a cop or not. I don't know. Maybe they'll just sit here and yell at me. I mean, you can put these on Supermotos and other bikes. Can I help you? Howdy. Excuse me?
What's going on?
Oh, I am filming a video right now and I'm talking to my microphone talking about brake setups on Supermotos.
Sweet. This is cool.
Thank you. Is that unmarked?
It's a training truck. We use it for training.
Thank you. So much for that jump right there. I'm glad I did not hit that. I was like, it's not even an unmarked car. It's a, apparently it's a training car. I saw the dark windows and I saw someone get out of it. I was like, shoot. I wasn't sure if he was going to get on to me. But yeah, I was talking, you know, I was going on about whether or not you really want to get a radial master cylinder. You know, that's pretty much what I was trying to get out of this video. I wanted to show a few pictures, some clips, and talk about what I did with my bike. So that's where we are. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I mean, this thing was fun for me. I love working on this motorcycle and I love wrenching on it and learning about it. And, you know, if there's any way I can kind of convey that information and maybe help someone else out who's building one of their Supermotos, I'd be more than happy to, you know? If this is something you guys liked and you want to see more, you know, subscribe to my channel, like the video if you want to see more, you know, that's how I'll know.